I'll be dissecting this question from two perspectives. The first is from the point of view of traditional grammar, while the second approach will be to look at it from the angle of modern grammar. Now, when you have a structure like this or a sentence like this, where a baby is talked about, and the gender of the baby isn't revealed, the gender isn't known, their identity of the baby in terms of gender isn't known. According to traditional grammar, the right possessive determiner to use, the right possessive adjective to use is its. So let's put this in the question. The question is the baby is craving dash mom's milk. The baby is craving dash mom's milk. The identity of this child in terms of gender isn't known. So we go for this. The baby is craving its mom's milk. Its mom's milk. That's according to traditional grammar. However, if you were to look at this, still under traditional grammar, but under informal situation, it is assumed that the answer is er. Back in the day, according to traditional grammar, if you attended an event or an occasion where you had to speak to a group of people and you had the opportunity of saying something like this, weaving or saying an expression like this, where you have to mention a baby and their identity is in a public space under informal situation, their answer is assumed. You're expected to say her. The baby is craving her mom's milk. That's actually under traditional grammar. But formally, other formal situations or informal situation, still under traditional grammar, the answer is it. So if you were in school back in the day, according to traditional grammar, your answer had to be it. The baby is craving its mom's milk. But according to modern grammar, that is no longer obtainable. That is no longer obtainable. When you speak about human beings, whether it's a baby, an adult, right? Whose gender isn't known, whose gender is not talked about, whose gender is not revealed, you're expected to use this plural form of the possessive determiner. The baby is craving their mom's milk. That is according to modern grammar. But I understand that a lot of exam templates such as the WAEC, the NECO, or the JAM still use the traditional approach, right? Understand the situation. So if you have to write exams, for example, when you have a question like this, it's expected that you go for it. But remember, according to modern grammar, which of course hasn't circulated everywhere, which of course hasn't been adopted by all the examination bodies, according to modern grammar, the right answer is this. So yeah, that's basically about this video. Remember, when you have a question like this today on the exam situation, you have a question like this. Remember, when a baby is talked about and their identity is known, your answer should always be this. But according to modern grammar, the right answer is this. However, do not use this on the exam situation. The baby is craving the mom's milk. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time. But remember to keep speaking right and keep learning right. See you next time.